in America, there are men and women who are calling good evil and evil good. And it's amazing to see it. And because of that, evil is reaching a new level of evil. Because if you're in a fallen state, whether you're accepted or not, you're dying. Evil is your daddy, and you're dying. Here's proof that evil is getting worse in America. And I want to just remind you, the new kingdom is within, so if you're truly born again of God, you won't be bothered with it. You'll see it. It'll be like watching the movie because the world is of the Old Testament, and everything that happened in the Old Testament is being repeated in the world today. ABC News is reporting a search for a gunman is underway as two Los Angeles, and James Haight mentioned this in his Haight report too, in the news report. But a search for a gunman is underway as two Los Angeles County Sheriff Department deputies are fighting for their lives after they were shot in the head in an ambush at a metro station in Compton, California. There are people who come to the church from our Compton. I was asked about living in Compton. I remember when I first moved to California, I had friends in Compton. It was so easy to go over there, but now I don't go over there, period. But a friend, one of them church members tells me, oh, it's not that bad in parts of Compton. But it's bad in parts of Compton, California. And here's that soundbite news report from the story.
Look now at the scene in Compton where two LA County Sheriff's deputies were shot overnight. A massive search is happening right now for the gunman who ambushed the pair. Both officers were sworn in only 14 months ago. The incident happened at a Blue Line metro station. The deputies, though, are still alive.
The LA County Sheriff's Department is reeling with what appears to be an unprovoked ambush. Two deputies shot multiple times. This ambush was caught on metro station surveillance video, and it is very difficult to watch. You can see the shooter. He opens fire and runs. Female deputy, one male. Both were rushed into surgery shortly after the shooting as an intense manhunt got underway. But what happened outside of the hospital was that several protesters showed up here chanting, making several accusations about taking action against the officers. And that, of course, drew a very swift response by the Sheriff's Department. Take a look at the video we shot earlier today. We saw one of the radio reporters that was here at the scene. She had rushed up to the police line there to see what was going on when she was suddenly taken down.
Well, as Robert and Joe and I were trying to find parking, we noticed a group of people trying to get into emergency room. And thankfully, the officers were able to stop them.
Protesters were chanting. What were they saying?
Well, they were saying death to the police, kill the police.
Amazing. There are people who are calling good evil and evil good. I want to remind you that this really went out of control under Barack Obama. Remember this? When he was president? And they had that radical evil organization that's worse than the KKK called Black Lives Matter. And they were chanting, what do we want? Dead cops. When do we want it now? Pigs in the blanket, fry 'em like bacon. And prior to that, Obama, there was an incident in Massachusetts where a so-called black professor pretended to be upset because some cops went to his house or something and they thought somebody had broken in. They were looking out for him, and he cried racism about it. And Obama said, before even knowing the information, the cops acted stupidly. Remember the fallen Messiah saying that? And then the fallen Messiah said when that thug, Trayvon Martin, was killed by Joyce Zimmerman and protecting himself from the thug, Obama said, if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon Martin.
If I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
See? And so all this really, I'm sure before that, cops were being killed, nothing like after Obama. But it went out of control under Barack Obama. Obama invited that radical far left group called Black Lives Matter, a bunch of fat black radical lesbians, rather than punishing them for what do we want dead cops, he invited them to the White House. And I believe more than once. I might be wrong about that, but more than once. And since Obama, the attacks among cops have gone completely out of control. I blame Obama for this, but I also blame the people who are doing it because you're adults and you are responsible for going out killing cops, and you should have to pay the price for that. These people protesting at the emergency room, going after the cops, are evil people. And they happen to be black. They're white, evil ones, young white people doing evil things as well because their parents have failed them and they've been brainwashed. But evil, you have evil football players and people like that bowing to fat, black, radical lesbians like so-called Black Lives Matter, these thugs who are being killed by cops. The people kneeling for that. Not to say thanks to America, to the military men and women who sacrifice their lives, to the fans who show up to say, hey, we'll buy your material because we really enjoy sports. You're doing it for us. Thank you. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the flag. They don't care about the military. They are bowing down to evil and ignoring good. And it's in the forefront now. Concerning the officers that were, the sheriff, the deputies that were shot by this thug, President Trump tweeted out. President Donald Trump condemned, this is from Twitter, President Donald Trump condemned the shooting, tweeting, if they die, fast trial death penalty for the killer. Only way to stop this, and he's absolutely right, 100% right. I wonder if the fallen Messiah, Barack Obama, and Big Mama Michelle were in the White House, would they say, if I had a son, he would look like the man that shot the police officers? Or would they say, Black Lives Matter? I'm just wondering out loud. Calling good evil and evil good. This is from the Sun. There's this NAACP, the National Association for Colored People. Something like that. And this guy is the Greater Springfield head of the NAACP, a guy by the name of Talbert Swain or Swan. Let me go ask Nick. I'll be right back. Swan, thank you, Nick. He tweeted, and see, they're calling good evil and evil good. Here's my proof. The NAACP leader out of Springfield, Greater Springfield, Talbert Swan, tweeted, and I guess he's referring to the president. If you're expressing outrage over the shooting of two sheriff deputies, but we're defending Kyle Rittenhouse in Kosovo, Wisconsin is Kenosha, but I call it Kosovo. You need to shut up and have a seat. This is a grown adult man who is the head of the NAACP, according to the report, out of Greater Springfield. Where is Greater Springfield? Illinois. Isn't that amazing? I hope that's Illinois. They're calling evil good and good evil. May God have mercy upon the blacks. They have totally lost their way. Not all, but most. Calling good evil and evil good. It's unfortunate that America has fallen for the lie that black people are suffering due to slavery, Jim Crow, systemic racism, and all that crap. I even heard the president, he was doing this interview, he believed that systemic racism exists to a certain point. That's unfortunate. It's just not true at all. I grew up under the Jim Crow law. Black people were doing better back then than they are today. They have the freedom in the world to do. They can burn and destroy now and not pay a price for it. They can kill cops and get away with it. They use systemic racism as a reason for it. And the people are like, oh, yeah. So they are now calling good evil and evil good. Concerning the cops that were shot. They're not dead, thank God. They're LA County Sheriff Department deputies. They were shot, but they're still alive and hopefully they're making through this stuff. And so President Trump is right. If they should die, fast trial and the death penalty for the killer. But out of Greater Springfield, NAACP Tabitha Swan tweeted in reference to the president, if you're expressing outrage over the shooting, I guess he's referring to the president, of two sheriff deputies, but we're defending Kyle Rittenhouse in Kosovo, you need to shut up and have a seat. So it sounds like he's not that offended about these two innocent cops sitting in their car looking out for the people of the community. Someone walks over and just shoot them. Whereas Kyle, according to the report, was defending himself. Kyle Rittenhouse defended himself there in Kosovo. Well, if you think that's bad, they're calling good evil and evil good. This is from YouTube. Leaders of the LA-based Pan-African group, something called Africa. Am I right about that, Nick? Where's Nick? Africa Town. Am I right? Africa Town posted this statement after news of the shooting. Here's your soundbite.
What's up there, Black family? This is Kevin Morton Price, Africa Town Coalition. I am here with breaking news for all of you who may not know. Actually, for all of you that may have been, depressed by the brutal murder of Dijon Kizzee and all the other black men that has been gunned down in just LA, you know what I'm saying? Just recently Compton. But I just want to inform everybody that two sheriff deputies were sitting at the Compton Metro Station, and a unknown assailant walked up and busted a cap on both of them. Shot him in the head. All right? So, and he got away. All right, they have no suspect, no identity, no nothing, So, what are we supposed to do, y'all? We're supposed to celebrate today because the oppressor has been slain.
Had you seen that before right now, Joe?
I had not.
What do you think? Your first impression of that?
That this is why black people think that it's the white man, white supremacist, the cops, Trump. But this is exactly why black people are the way they are. It's themselves. And then they blame everybody else, but they never take responsibility ever. And I know so many black people who don't take responsibility. In my own family, they just won't do it.
Mine too.
They just avoid doing it. So they're the problem.
But how come the black? Well, I know why. I know why to this question. But I'm just asking Joel for conversation's sake. Why don't black people know with all this stuff that they are doing, this terrorist attack upon America, they are not making friends. They are making enemies.
Right.
Things are not getting better for them. This is turning out bad for the blacks.
Right.
Why don't they see that?
Well, then every time they do see it, they start to look at people as the enemy. Like, oh, you don't like me because of A, B, and C. Opposed to like, no, we don't like you because you're acting out.
Nobody like them now. Japanese, Mexicans, white people, nobody like them.
Exactly.
But the enemies of America will use them, but they don't like the blacks. They just rent a black for destruction.
And any criticism,
I can't believe this guy going on and make a video making that statement.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, look like he would know that there's something, even in your fallen state. When I was in the fallen state, I knew some of the stuff I was doing was wrong. I might didn't know how to get out of it, but I knew it was wrong.
Exactly, but it's like any criticism that they get, they take it personal, opposed to it being constructive. Like, oh, maybe that is true. But instead they're like, oh, you're attacking me. Racism, you hate me. Da, 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 da.
It's too bad that blacks are used for this. How come they ain't find somebody else? Don't you like want to join another group of culture, forget about the black culture? And like, I was asking my staff yesterday, what did I ask? What's the best group to join now, to be a part of?
I know.
I want to divorce myself from the blacks.
And it's so crazy that you say that because I went to the ocean on Saturday.
If I decide to take the notion and jump in the ocean, ain't nobody business if I do.
And they had a Trump, a boat Trump thing. And then I would like say hi to all the Trump people on the boat. And a lot of them wouldn't say hi to me initially.
Right.
Because they didn't know if I was trolling them because I'm black.
You're black.
So the good blacks got to suffer with the bad blacks.
Yeah, you're right about that. So when I'm walking down the road and a white lady see me coming and she pull a purse on the left side if I'm on the right, if I'm going to pass her on the right and she going to put her purse on the left, I'll hold on to it. I totally understand, white folks.
Yeah,
and Mexicans do it too. I totally understand. Really. I don't blame you. And if they don't like it, give them the finger.
Right.
Because they should be acting better.
Right.
They should act civilized.
What a mess.
So you saw Trump support. You were on the boat too, right?
I was on the boat too, yeah. Well,
And so you were waving at the Trump supporters?
I was waving, saying hi.
Well, who are the other?
and Huntington Beach, and the previous weekend I was in Big Bear. I think it was the previous weekend, and there's a bunch of Trump supporters, and I was like, right on like this. I was like, right on, Trump, and they thought I was doing Black Lives Matter.
You can't be doing that.
I know. So I'm on thin ice. Black people.
So you went to Big Bear the weekend before
I
last,
think, yeah.
and then that was Big Bear.
I think it was last weekend, yeah.
Yeah, it was last weekend. You're doing it up.
You see that?
And then last week you out on a boat.
Live my life.
What the? Do you know how to swim?
I'm a good swimmer.
Black people can't swim.
I'm a good swimmer. But a white lady taught me.
If you learn how to swim and you join a swim team and you win, they'll hold you up as a hero. The first black swimmer.
Even if my time wasn't even that good.
Like you're doing something good, yeah. That's too bad. So the guy that you just saw from Africa Town, his name was Kevin. I'm sorry I don't have his last name. Let me go out to Nick and get his last name. I'll be right back. What? That's not Rittenhouse. Kevin Walton. Walton. That's who you heard speaking in the African mess, dressed in the African mess. In America, dressed like in Africa. That man wouldn't know Africa and hit him over the head. And so after he gave that so-called talk about the cops thing, they showed up at the hospital and tried to, and this is from YouTube, they showed up at the hospital and tried to enter the premises. Watch this.
What's up there, Black family? This is Kevin Ward Price, Africa Town Coalition. We are out here at St. Francis Hospital where two of America's most notorious gang members have been brought to.
All the motherfuckers y'all done gunned down over there in the motherfucking
Hey, pussy, these are only phones. They're not guns. Put that shit down, you punk bitch. Put it down. That's why you're dying one by one. Put that shit down. You're next with the fucking hot pocket, bitch. You're next.
He said the cop had worked in the gang members? What the? You're next? What does that mean, you're next? One of them said, you're going to die one by one. You're next. How can you say that to the cops and not be arrested? That guy also mentioned someone by the name of Dijon Kizzy, who was caught on camera punching the cop. The cops who tried to stop him. He also had a gun, according to this report, out of Compton there, I guess, somewhere in L.A. Was it Compton? Did this happen in Compton? But anyway, so you saw that at the hospital. This is after the cops were shot. And while they were laying up in the hospital, fighting for their lives, after sitting in their car, trying to protect the innocent that lives in that community. So Dijon was shot in Los Angeles. Amazing. So you saw them go over to the hospital, right? So this is from Twitter. Witnesses at the scene of the shooting filmed themselves reacting to the situation in Compton.
Compton. Just aired the police out, nigga. They just aired the police out, nigga. It go up in Compton. Them niggas just got aired out, cuz. They just bust on them niggas, cuz. That's crazy. Damn. Oh, it goes down in Compton. Oh, they just got bust off. That on a knee. Damn.
I'm lost for words. It's so evil, folks. This is why black people are suffering. This is why black people are suffering, not because of slavery, had nothing to do with slavery at all, not one iota. It has nothing to do with Jim Crow, nothing to do with systemic racism, nothing to do with all this other crap they're blaming. It's a lack of moral character, pure evil. All in the name of Jesus. Today, not all, but most black people are pure evil. Not all, but most. This is evil. And you don't hear a lot of black people crying, speaking out against this. They're just like the Muslim when the Muslim cut off people's heads. You don't hear the Muslim denouncing it. You don't hear the Christian blacks or a majority of any black people denouncing what's happening right now because they agree with it. Silence me, you agree with it. Joel is saying, my engineer, whatever. I mean, what's even more evil is they are open about it. Videotaping themselves, admitting to hate. He's right about that. Black people don't have love. I've been saying for 30 years, black people do not have love. They only have hate. They are not the God-fearing, Christian-loving folks. And stop saying that lie. It's not true. And I got proof. Look around you. Terrorist attack up on America. Killing cops. Making selfies. Agreeing with it. going out to the hospitals to go after the cops while they're fighting for their lives in the emergency room. And y'all want to blame systemic racism, and you have white people going along with it? Oh, yeah, I'm going to denounce my white privilege. This one fat, big old black woman said with a wig on, looked like a wig, said that white people are subhuman. Subhuman. And the whites are sitting there looking at la, 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 da, you're right. I don't know what you think going to happen. You're agreeing with us. At what point will you stand up? What will it take to stand up and speak up? Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the JLP Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.